Hi, I'm Andrew Wasson. Thanks for tuning in to my weekly guitar blog. It's November 25th, 2012, and this week we're going to run through ways that will help you get better with developing proficiency with your guitar licks. Now, this question was sent in by Garrison. He's out in Ireland, and his email to me read, "I'm pretty much what you might call an average player at a middle-of-the-road level. I have a fine interest right now in playing blues licks, so what my guitar playing dilemma is these days is smoothness with playing these licks. What are your suggestions for learning how to develop proficiency when learning licks?" From Garrison out in Ireland. Well, hey, thanks for writing in, Garrison. You know, learning licks is one of the most common ways that we develop many important elements of our guitar playing. You know, we gain an understanding of how to use our fingering order. We're able to hear rhythmic phrasing that we want for lines, and we develop quite a lot of our guitar technique from learning licks as well. So it would obviously serve our best interest to know how we can take licks that we're learning and move them from being places that we just simply put our fingers right up into a level of great competence and expert skill. So let's run through a few licks, and with each one I'll explain a good process that you can begin using right away to take licks from a level of inability to complete proficiency as quickly as possible. In my first example, I'm taking a G blues lick with a basic eighth note feel found in third position, and I want to use this lick to stress one of the most often overlooked concepts that players will brush off when it comes to learning licks, and that is the element of counting through the lick. I'm sure you've heard your own private guitar teacher do this, or your high school band teacher do it, or maybe you've even heard me do it in one of my other video lessons. And regardless, the act of properly counting through any musical line will help make the line far more conscious to your mind and your body and your fingers, and it will most importantly burn the proper rhythmic meter of the lick in very early on. So to begin, here's the count up front: 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. Now, even though that might sound kind of mechanical, because most of the time blues licks are in a shuffle rhythm feel, once you've got the exact sense and meter and rhythm of the lick together, you could always change it over to a shuffle rhythm for yourself and spice it up however you see fit. Okay, now that you're aware of the importance of counting both into and during the initial learning of a lick, let's move on to the idea of a complete and thorough analysis of other possible fingerings for a lick. Now, I realize that books and magazines will often stress particular fingerings, or teachers that you'll have will stress them, but I'd like for you to try multiple fingerings when you're learning parts. With each one, test and operate how your hand flows, how the feel of the parts come across, and most of all, which fingerings feel the best to you when you perform the line. You're the one that's going to have to perform it in the end. So the fingerings should feel very comfortable. So here's my second example, applying all 4 fretboard hand fingers in position. The lick goes like this. Okay, and in my variation of this example, I'm changing the fingering of the part to create another alternate fingering layout for the line. And this time, the fingering does not include the use of the small finger, only the first through third fingers. And the guitar lick will, of course, remain the same, but the fingering is what's going to be changing. Now here's the lick played again with the new fingering applied. All right, now in my final example, I wanted to cover one of the most important ways that I believe you can go and use to take a guitar lick from basically a complete standstill of not knowing anything of how to rip it out, and using this approach, quickly develop the lick so that it feels very solid and can be performed with a good degree of overall skill. Now what this idea does is it applies horizontal fretboard movement of the lick that you're learning in order to help solidify the technique needed to play the part. And we achieve this due to the fact that the lick is both getting relocated to different fretboard positions, and through this, the hand gains a different feeling for the lick since the geometry of the idea moves to different fret sizes along the neck, and we get different string action as we relocate. Plus, we're altering the distance between the fretting hand and the picking hand. You put all these factors together, and we have an excellent concept to help really bring new licks up to a high degree of proficiency. So here's the guitar lick from my example starting in third position. And now moving up a whole step. We could, of course, move that up another whole step if we wanted. you could practice moving this type of an idea chromatically. And this concept of moving things laterally along your neck doesn't have to stop at guitar licks. You could use it for chords or any statements that happen musically in a piece that you find you need extra help with your fingering technique upon. Well, I guess by now we all know that licks are the backbone to soloing and to the foundation for becoming a great improviser. So the more time you can spend learning licks, and most importantly lifting licks from your favorite guitar albums to train your ear, the better your guitar skills will become overall. So try out my guitar lick proficiency building ideas that I've presented here, and I'm sure that you'll begin seeing a difference with the speed and effectiveness of your overall skill development in practically no time. Anyway, once again, that's about all the time I have for today. As always, thanks for watching. Have yourself a great week, and I'll catch up with you next time. Bye for now.